Welcome back to Happy Toon Cool, where magical adventures and extraordinary friendships await you at every turn. Today, gather round for a tale from the deepest, greenest heart of the forest, where the sunbeams play among the leaves and secrets hide behind every bush. It's a story of courage, wit, and the most unexpected friendship between a clever little mouse and a bold, adventurous cat, as they journey together across the border, deep into the mysterious wilderness. Long ago, in a corner of the world where the trees whispered ancient secrets and the river sang lullabies, there lay a border, an invisible line that separated two very different worlds. On one side, the land of the mice, bustling with little paws, laughter, and delicious crumbs. On the other, the territory of the cats, with velvet paws, swishing tails, and eyes that sparkled in the moonlight. It was a rule as old as time. Mice kept to their side and cats to theirs. No one dared cross, for ancient tales spoke of danger and disaster. Yet, in this very forest lived a mouse named Milo, small in size, but with a heart as big as the world itself. Milo was not like the other mice. While his friends were content digging tunnels and nibbling on seeds, Milo stared up at the border, his eyes filled with wonder and longing. What lay beyond? Was the grass really greener? Did cats truly pounce on anything that twitched? Milo's best friend, Luna, a lively and quick-witted mouse, would often warn him. Stay away from the border, Milo. It's dangerous. The cats are fierce and cunning. But Milo only grinned. Every great adventure begins with a single step, Luna. Maybe the cats aren't so bad. On a particularly golden morning, while exploring near the border, Milo heard a rustle in the bushes. He froze, his whiskers twitching. Out leaped a cat! But this was no ordinary cat. She was sleek and striped, with emerald eyes that glimmered not with hunger, but with curiosity. Her name was Saffron, known among cats for her daring spirit and insatiable curiosity about the world beyond her own. Startled, Milo tried to dart away, but his little foot caught on a vine and he tumbled headfirst into a pile of leaves. Saffron stifled a laugh. "Don't be afraid," she purred. "I'm not here to chase you. I've always wondered what life is like beyond the border. Maybe you can show me?" Milo eyed her warily, but his sense of adventure bubbled up. "Maybe we could explore together," he suggested. "We could see both sides, the mice's world and the cat's world, and share what we learn." And so, an unlikely friendship was born. A mouse and a cat, ready to defy the rules and brave the unknown. They made a plan. They would cross the border together, each showing the other their homes and secrets, and then journey deep into the heart of the great forest, where no cat or mouse had ever dared to go. Their journey began at dawn. First, they slipped quietly into the land of the mice. Saffron tiptoed behind Milo, careful not to frighten the tiny creatures bustling about. The mice, upon seeing a cat, scattered in all directions, squeaking in panic. But Milo stood tall and declared, "Friends, this is Saffron. She's my guest and she means no harm." With Milo vouching for her, the mice grew curious rather than afraid. They invited Saffron to a grand feast of seeds, berries, and cheese crumbs. She tried everything, her whiskers twitching in delight, and shared stories of chasing sunbeams and climbing the tallest trees in her territory. Next, it was Saffron's turn. She led Milo across the border into the territory of the cats. Milo's heart pounded as they crept past sleeping felines and dodged the stern gaze of the cat elder, a wise old Tom with a coat the color of midnight. Saffron quickly explained, "This is Milo, my friend. He's a guest. He means no harm." The other cats were skeptical at first, but Saffron's confidence won them over. Milo was treated to a tour of the high branches, leaping from tree to tree with Saffron's guidance. He learned the art of silent stalking, not for hunting, but for appreciating the forest's wonders without disturbing its peace. But their greatest challenge was yet to come. Deep in the forest lay the Boundary River, a fast-flowing stream that marked the true heart of the wild. No mouse or cat had ever crossed it, for it was said to be guarded by the wise and mysterious owl, the keeper of the borders. Undeterred, Milo and Saffron pressed on, dodging brambles and leaping over twisting roots. Their journey was filled with laughter and mishaps, Milo getting tangled in Saffron's tail, Saffron nearly sneezing from a patch of wildflowers, both tumbling into a mud puddle and emerging as two spotted, giggling friends. As night fell, The forest changed, shadows grew longer, and the air filled with the songs of crickets and the hoot of the great owl. Suddenly, the river came into view, a shining ribbon of silver under the moonlight. Perched on a low branch above the river was the owl, his golden eyes unblinking. "Who dares approach the Boundary River?" the owl intoned, his voice deep and ancient. Milo and Saffron stepped forward, side by side. "We seek to learn, wise owl," Milo said, his voice steady. "We come as friends, not as foes." The owl studied them for a long moment. "Long have the borders kept your kind apart," he said. "But perhaps it is time for a new story. To cross the Boundary River, you must answer a riddle. What grows when shared brings peace to foes and lights the darkest path?" Milo and Saffron looked at each other, thinking hard. Finally, Saffron's eyes lit up. "Is it friendship?" The owl nodded, his beak curving into a smile. "Indeed, friendship is the bridge between all borders." With a sweep of his wing, he lowered a sturdy branch over the river, creating a bridge. Milo and Saffron crossed together, their hearts pounding with joy and excitement. On the far side, the forest was wilder and more beautiful than anything they'd ever imagined. Flowers that glowed with their own light, trees that whispered secrets, and animals of all kinds living side by side. Here, Milo and Saffron discovered a new world, one where differences were celebrated and every creature had a story to share. They played with rabbits, raced with squirrels, and listened to the songs of nightingales. Together, they learned that courage means reaching out, even when you're afraid, and that friendship can break down any barrier. But their adventure was not without danger. One evening, as they explored a patch of glowing mushrooms, they heard a rustle in the darkness. Out leaped a sly fox, his eyes glinting with cunning. "What have we here? A mouse and a cat together? How unusual! I wonder which of you tastes better." Milo and Saffron stood frozen. But then Saffron remembered the lessons she'd learned from the mice. How to distract and dodge. She flicked her tail, kicking up a flurry of leaves, while Milo darted around the fox's feet, nipping at his toes. Their teamwork confused the fox, who spun in circles until he tripped over his own tail and tumbled into a bush, grumbling as he slunk away. Relieved, Milo and Saffron high-fived, laughing at their own bravery. They realized that together, they could face any challenge, no matter how big or scary. As days turned into weeks, word of their friendship spread throughout the forest. More mice and cats ventured across the border, curious to meet their neighbors. Old fears faded, replaced by new friendships and shared stories. The forest became a place where all creatures could roam freely, learning from one another and building a home where everyone belonged. At last, it was time for Milo and Saffron to return to their own lands. They stood by the Boundary River, looking back at the adventures they had shared. "We did it," Milo said softly. "We crossed the border and found a new world," Saffron purred. "And we proved that even the oldest rules can change if we're brave enough to try." As they walked home, they promised to visit each other often, to keep exploring and learning together, and to teach others the lessons they had learned. And so, dear friends, the tale of Milo and Saffron, the mouse and the cat who crossed the border, became a legend in the great forest. It was told and retold, inspiring all who heard it to reach out to those who seemed different, to take a chance on friendship, and to believe that even the smallest creatures can make the biggest difference. And what is the lesson from our story today? Sometimes, the things that seem to divide us are just lines drawn in the sand, meant to be crossed, explored, and understood. When we open our hearts, set aside our fears, and work together, we can build bridges instead of walls, and discover a world richer and more wonderful than we ever imagined. So remember, the next time you meet someone different or face a scary border, think of Milo and Saffron. Be brave, be curious, and never be afraid to make a new friend. Thank you for joining us on this magical journey today. If you enjoyed the adventure of Milo and Saffron, don't forget to subscribe to Happy Toon Cool to catch new stories every Thursday and Sunday. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and remember, the greatest adventures begin with a single step.